If you're new to Zoom, then it can be frustrating to figure out why your sound isn't working or why people can't hear you. And there's no magic solution to it. Some of these things, here's some of the common things that I found. I use other programs on my computer that use my microphone and my camera. A perfect example is Skype. Skype also uses my camera and my microphone, especially because you can do Skype video calls. If there are other things that could use your camera, YouTube, you can stream live and it asks for access to your camera. It asks for access to your microphone. Sometimes when you use other programs, after you finish using that program, it should kind of give that power back to the computer. Sometimes it doesn't. The tricky thing is you don't know who has it and who doesn't have access to your camera and your microphone. So you just think it's magically going to work. And sometimes it doesn't. So I want to show you quickly some of the things that you can do to troubleshoot if your sound isn't working. Support Help Desk 101 would say, Control-Alt-Delete and restart your computer. But if you're joining a Zoom, in today's world, you're joining at the time the meeting is starting, if not, maybe a little bit late. So you don't have time to restart your computer. So what else can you do? If you are potentially using Skype or other programs, you can close those programs out. Not minimize them, actually close them, quit them. So if you're in the Mac world, this is minimize, where it just basically shrinks it, but it's still running. And you know it's still running because if you look down here, it's got the little black dot, like it's open. It's still running. When I say close it out, it's actually clicking the red box, or it would be quitting. Like you want to quit Skype, or you want to quit Chrome, like you want to shut it down, where it might appear down here, but it doesn't have the little black dot underneath it. Same thing in the Windows world. I think it's like File menu, close, or quit. That should release the microphone or the camera from being held any longer by that application. So that's the first thing I would try. Second thing is you have these two things right here that are these carrots that point up like up arrows without the rest of the arrow. And you can see, same as system, is whatever you've set as the default. So when you set up, this is driving me crazy, I'm sorry. When you set up, now it's over here. I'm sorry. When you set up your computer, it's going to say, what microphone do you want to use? And you're like, I don't know, whatever microphone I have. And it's like, what speaker do you want to use? I don't know, whatever the speaker is. I don't know what it's called. Speaker. So it pulls as default the same as whatever you've selected on the system. What you also might have is an external mic. So there are microphones that you can plug into your computer, and it might be just a little box that's a microphone. It could be like a snowball that looks like a little round ball, but that is an external system, an external component microphone that maybe your computer didn't have a microphone, so you had to buy a microphone. Maybe your computer didn't have a camera, so you had to buy a camera. If that's the case, you may have another option when it comes to microphone. And it would say the make of the microphone. So if I had a snowball, it would say snowball mic. If I had a Samsung, it would say Samsung mic. So most likely you'd see the name of the microphone there. You're saying, I would like to use this microphone for my microphone, which projects my sound, and for my speaker that audibly gives me the sound. If you have an external microphone, that would be the name of the other thing, the snowball or whatever the microphone is. It wouldn't be for the speaker because most likely, even computers that are 10 years old, most of them had speakers, or laptops had speakers. If you don't hear anything, check your volume, because you could have been on a website and a video came up and you muted. And when you if you muted, do I keep muting when I say muted? If you muted it, then your sound might be working fine, but it's turned off. So you just want to make sure that your volume is turned up or turned down. Now, so you can run a test. That checked the microphone. That checked the microphone. Sorry, that checked the speaker. Sorry, that checked the speaker. This checks the microphone. This checks the microphone. So it sounds like the first thing when it played the little lovely song, that was checking my speaker and said, can you hear it? And I said, yep, I can hear it. Okay, so my speaker works. And then the second one was say something. And you saw the little bar that was moving and it said, oh, it looks, and then it replayed it back to me. So it said, I can hear and the system can hear. That's about the best you can test. If you do those things and you still cannot hear, your last alternative is to switch to phone audio. Bummer, but what it does is it'll disconnect, same thing as leave computer audio. It'll leave computer audio and now no one in the meeting can hear me. So I'm actually here and you can see this way. You see my name and my camera. That's all I have working right now. There is no microphone next to my name at all because I just left audio. When you join Zoom, you can choose phone audio or computer audio. Well, when I just left computer audio, it's like, well, that's what you said you wanted and you left. So you don't have sound. Now I can join audio. I can try and join computer audio and kind of resync and see if it works again. And I get this message saying you're using computer audio. If that doesn't work and none of these things work, then switch to phone audio. It'll give me a phone number, old school, dial it, and then you can choose all these different numbers. They're all local in different parts of the US and around the world. And then it'll say, enter your meeting ID. Your meeting ID is this number. It's also here at the top. And it's probably also in whatever meeting invite you got. That's how you can test your sound. Let me know if you have any questions. Oh, sorry. Last alternative is to Control-Alt-Delete, restart your computer. You shouldn't have to do that, and let people know. Sometimes people have left Zoom and come back, and sometimes that works. I haven't seen it work very often. You can try that, and then if all else fails, then you can restart your computer, and that clears everything. So that basically starts everything fresh, shuts down everything, and refreshes everything brand new. That will probably work. It'll just take a few minutes, depending on how slow your computer is. Could be more than a few minutes, but all of those things should help you troubleshoot your audio and get it working. If all else fails, dial on the phone, and then you'll be back up. And then figure it out after the meeting, or after the class, or after whatever it is. It's just a bummer, because you gotta sit here like this, or have headphones, or put it on speaker, or. Okay, let me know what questions you have.